Hi there, Dawn McVey here for Make It Monday. Today we're going to talk about how to use multiple stamps from your collection to create a beautiful collage style background that can serve as a sort of anchor to help ground your focal point. And the best part is you can mix and match any stamps you may already have to create stunning backgrounds of your own.
Okay, so let's get started. Firstly, here's a card I made using this collage technique for the last countdown. And as you can see, I just, on the background here, created a collage with various leaf stamps, some borders, a sentiment, some text. I didn't cover the whole entire card front. I just wanted to create a collage, a nice little sort of place to anchor what would become the focal point with the flower on top. So that's kind of the idea of what we're going to go for today. So to get started, I've got some rustic cream cardstock here that I have cut to 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. And the first thing I'm going to do is pull out a sentiment from We Go Together. And I'm going to position the sentiment, actually I'm going to use my block, my grid line block here so I can line it up. And I want to position the sentiment first. I want to get it into place first, and then I'm just going to build everything else around it. So I'm going to stamp this sentiment with Smoky Shadow ink. I'm going to put it down about here. Next, I'm going to add some newsprint text. As you'll see today, I've pulled out quite a few stamp sets, but that's the beauty of this technique. You can use whatever you've got on hand, so just don't be afraid to pull out those stamps and mix and match to create a really cool collage. I'm also using Smoky Shadow on this text, but I want it to be more subtle. So I'm first going to stamp off one time on scratch paper, and then I'm going to stamp it one more time right over the top little bit of that sentiment. As you can see, it's a little spotty there in one little section. Don't even worry about that, because that's going to get, there's going to be so many layers and textures by the time we're done that that's going to be part of what makes this look cool once it's all finished. So now I've got Polka Dot Basics 2. This is the smallest little dot from that set. And I'm going to switch to Aqua Mist ink. I chose this ink because it's nice and light. It'll give me a pop of color without being too in your face for all of the other things that I'm going to be layering on here that I want to sort of stand out more than these dots. And by using a light color, I could put it directly over the sentiment here, and it won't detract from the sentiment. Now I've got the frame image from Boutique Borders Mother, and also with the Aqua Mist ink. I'm going to ink up just half of it, and I'm going to stamp it about like that. Mainly I just want to give that little sort of flourish detail a place to peek out on the side of the card there. Next, I've got Harvest Berries, and I'm going to use a couple of images from this set. I'm going to start out with this, the largest ginkgo leaves. Just going to ink this up with New Leaf ink. I'm going to stamp it, I think about like so. And I'm going to add one more little bit just from the tip. We'll have this one coming in from the side here. About like that. Okay, and lastly from this particular set, I've got the little berries. I want to stamp those using Pure Poppy ink. Just going to add a few here and there. Eventually I'm going to be adding a flower, so I kind of want to see where the flower is going to go in relation to where I might want to add berries. We'll just do 3 little bits of berries. And now we're done with that one. So as you can see, we've already got our background finished. That whole collage is done with just a few quick stamps, but it's a really interesting background. Before I go ahead and add the border, let's stamp the flower. I've used the Limitless Layers 1 3/4 inch scallop circle die to cut out this little flower, and this is the circle flower from Rosy Posy. I must admit I don't use this particular flower image often enough, so today we're going to put it to use. And I'm going to stamp it with Berry Sorbet ink. Just want to line it up. And the fun part about this particular stamp is that it has a coordinating image from the Rosy Posy Step 2 stamp set, which I have here. It's a circle overlay image that we're going to put right on top, and I'm going to stamp this with Pure Poppy. Again, right on top, we just want to line everything up. And there we have a really pretty flower. So that is it for the stamping. Now we're ready to assemble the card. I've got a Aqua Mist card base here that I've cut and scored to be 4 1/4 inches across by 5 1/2 inches down, and I'm going to take a strip of New Leaf cardstock that I die cut with the small scalloped border die, and I'm going to adhere this so that it's peeking out from the side of the rustic cream panel. I'm going to line it up just like so, and I will trim the edges off. That little bit I can save for some other little project. Windsor says hello, by the way. I don't know if you heard him whining. He knows I am not paying attention to him at the moment. So anyway, I'm going to adhere this panel to the card front, but I want to use foam adhesive. Now, if you wanted to keep this nice and flat, certainly you could just use regular adhesive. I just feel like popping the whole thing up today. And I'm going to adhere this to the card front so that it's positioned over to the left. but with just a little bit of aqua mist still visible on the side there. So it's mostly shifted to the left, but you can still see aqua mist on either side. And lastly, I want to adhere the button, but before I do, or the flower, before I do, I need to add a button. That flower just screams for a button center. I like that. And I've got some Pure Poppy Baker's twine here, already threaded on a needle. I keep these nice and handy all the time. Just give it a quick thread, and I'm going to use some score tape on the back. Just to secure that twine in place. So we'll put the button right in the center of the flower and trim off the extra twine. And I just need a little bit more foam adhesive here. Again, if you wanted to keep it flat, just use regular adhesive. I'm going to adhere it kind of up and to the right just a bit from the sentiment. And there we have it. A really pretty collage background that's fast and easy and a lot of fun to see what you can come up with.
I hope you've enjoyed today's project. I can't wait to see your take on the challenge. If you want to play along, be sure to head over to Nicole Hetty's blog where you can get all the info and you can upload your project so we can see what you came up with. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day. This has been Dawn McVey with Make It Monday.